NBA players who lost their minds over shutdown. The pandemic really destroyed some people, not just from an illness standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint. Players weren't bringing in their checks, and younger players weren't getting their traditional time with the NBA club they were assigned to because of the pandemic. This hurt the young players, as they knew without that extra time in the NBA, their dreams of making it with an official contract were slim. But not everyone lost their minds over the shutdown period. Some took the time to heal and recover from the long season. Now, they're back better than ever. This should make for some fun basketball. Keep watching to see the NBA players who lost their minds over the shutdown. Unexpected time to heal. Portland guard Damian Lillard was in the gym during quarantine and realized what his teammates Jusuf Nurkic and Zach Collins were doing during their individual workouts. He realized that he could heal up along with his teammates. The team was going to be healthy for the start of the season. Instead of losing their minds, the Blazers, like Lillard, embraced being off from the game and tried to heal up. The Blazers knew that 22 teams would be headed to Disney, and they'd be one of them. If the Blazers could get healthy, their chances of causing chaos in the final 8 games of the season, the playoffs, could be higher. I hate to even use that term, like a silver lining came out of this, because this is something that nobody ever predicted, Miami coach Erik Spoelstra said, and it's hard to say good things came from it. By the end of the season, after 60 or 65 games, most players were dealing with some kind of injury. Now teams will come back more healthy moving forward. The league is really anyone's. Meyers Leonard had a really bad sprained ankle, while his teammate and rookie Tyler Hero was also out with another ankle issue. Then there was Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was dealing with a slight knee sprain when the season was suspended. Another player who was dealing with an injury was Dallas's Kristaps Porzingis. He was getting help on a surgically repaired knee that was starting to give him some pain. The knee was feeling great the whole time. It was just a matter of getting back into rhythm, getting that skill for the game again, that touch around the rim and things like that, Porzingis said. I feel like now with the extra time that we had to put in the individual work and get a lot of the shots up and keep working on my game, I really feel comfortable on the court. I'll be ready to get back into rhythm and into the feel of the game. I'm just ready. I'm ready to be back on the court. Collins of the Blazers didn't play since October 27th because of a left shoulder dislocation that needed surgery. Nurkic, on the other hand, hasn't played since March 25th, 2019 because of fractures to his tibia and fibula in the left leg. Both big men will return for the Blazers, who are still fighting for a spot in the Western Conference playoffs. Postseason hopes are seriously alive for Portland. They look great, Lillard said of Nurkic and Collins. They make me feel way more confident going in. Both of them. Like, I forgot. I didn't forget, but I forgot who they were. It's been so long that I almost forgot. Nurkic was on the rise to stardom not too long ago. Now he's excited to show what he's actually capable of. He'll remind people of how good he is. I'm healthy as possible, Nurkic said. Boston's Gordon Hayward said he was able to give his left foot a solid little break. It still gets sore here and there because of his left ankle fracture in 2017. Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers said the time off left him feeling completely refreshed. Players have enjoyed their time off and can't wait to get back on the court, looking refreshed for the playoffs. It's been good, Davis said. It's given me a chance to let my body recover, kind of take a mid-season break now and just let everything heal and get back to like how I was at the beginning of the year, to get back to the best version of myself. I feel 100% healthy. I don't feel, I am. I'm ready to go. Mike Conley. Earlier during the shutdown, Mike Conley was waiting for further instructions just like the rest of the NBA. At the time, the league was continuing to work through multiple return-to-play scenarios. Nobody knew about the Orlando bubble. Half of the league's teams started opening facilities for voluntary player workouts. Utah was among the teams that opened, but Conley stayed at his home in Ohio. I've been working as if we were coming back, Conley said. If anything, I'd like to know a direction, just to know whether to keep putting the foot on the pedal or, back off a little and rest easier if we're not playing until the following year and following season. So I think it's just going to be a wait and see kind of game. I'll be ready one way or another. Jared Dudley of the Los Angeles Lakers basically knew that there would be a season as he was 90% confident that the NBA is coming back. He thought players owed it to the fans to come back. If you come back with Corona, you can't play, Dudley said. So we're going to be tested all the time. And so it would be smart of teams, all the guys that we have, will be wrapping them in the bubble and not letting them go anywhere. Let's just be honest, they can't leave. And so you would want that to be a team rule. Conley believed that the NBA would return as well, but he wouldn't commit until he heard more positive news. Once the positive news came, he was encouraged. We're going to be back as soon as we hear even more encouraging, positive news from our league, Conley said. What I've heard as far as the COVID-19 standpoint, I think things have gotten better. So I think that eases a lot of our reservations of not wanting to leave our homes. Two-way players. Paul Watson, a two-way player with the Raptors, was extremely excited for April. He played a quick stint in Germany, along with 2 seasons in the G League. He was finally on the cusp of an NBA job. In January, he was released by the Atlanta Hawks after 10 days. Then he went to the Toronto Raptors, who had chosen to sign him in a two-way contract. The deal came with limitations, as they had to split their time between the NBA and the G League. "That's what everybody in my position looks forward to," Watson said, "being able to be around guys like Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam, but also to learn more about what you need to do to get that guaranteed spot on the roster the next season." He also enjoyed the money that he was getting from being a two-way player. If you didn't know, two-way players are allowed to join their NBA team for training camp before the start of the G League season. That's 45 days during the G League season, and whatever is left of the NBA's regular season once the G League is finished. In the NBA, payday is basically a rookie minimum contract, worth $898,310 on the season. In the G League, the players get paid two-way player salary, which was $79,568 this year. The COVID-19 pandemic actually might have robbed Watson of that chance of getting paid in the NBA. Watson couldn't get cashed by Nick Nurse or play alongside Kyle Lowry. Instead, he was in his mom's Phoenix home, playing ball in the driveway. He also had to start watching his expenses. "I'm good with managing my money and not in a bad position," he said, "but it's not like I'm a millionaire. I'm definitely feeling this loss." It should be known that Watson and 55 others were signed to two-way deals. The players lost 18 post-G League season days, which many two-way players will see will cost them $91,350. These guys already had small salaries, and it made things worse. The two-way players also have no guarantee of future NBA minutes or checks, and were stressing about it earlier during the quarantine. It's possible two-way players could recoup some cash when the season resumes. There will be a couple of players who opt out for the season. Those players can fill spots. These players were hoping for expanded rosters to add them on the rosters. "We were going to play our two-way guys until the end of the season," said Tommy Shepard, the general manager of the Washington Wizards, who utilized two-way players this season as much as nearly any team in the league. "We really believe that time at the end of the year is a tremendous opportunity for them." Not too long ago, big man Luke Kornet was in Watson's position. Kornet went undrafted in the previous summer and then signed a two-way deal with the New York Knicks. He made his debut in February 2018 and agreed that the one-off practices, it's fun to be there, but a lot of times you're just mostly trying not to get in the way. Because the Knicks were already eliminated from the playoffs in 2018, the Knicks inserted Kornet into their rotation. He played at least 15 minutes in each of the Knicks' final 10 games. That helped him land a 2-year, $4.5 million deal he signed with the Chicago Bulls last summer. "If I didn't have that period my first year, I don't know what would have happened," Kornet said. It provided an opportunity for Kornet. He needed feedback and criticism to get better and play in the NBA level development. He started to adapt to be a better pick and roll guy, and even found a long-range jumper where he could pick and pop. "There's no substitute for being around the NBA team," Minnesota Timberwolves president of basketball operations Gerson Rosas said. "It shrinks the learning curve. You pick up what's expected of you, what the team needs, what the dynamic is. It's hard to get that stuff if you're not around." The Timberwolves admittedly relied on the services of their two-way players more than most teams this season. Jordan McLaughlin, a Wolves point guard, played 30 games and averaged nearly 20 minutes, while Keelan Martin appeared in 31 and averaged 16 minutes. The Wolves really destroyed their roster at the trade deadline and are in rebuild mode. Rosa said that he mapped out the schedules for his two-way players to ensure the majority of their NBA time was spent playing in games. It's easier for a rebuilding team to put this scenario together. NBA teams rarely practice, and when they do practice, it's usually light walkthrough stuff, Rosa said. "We wanted those guys to work, to be on the floor. We thought that'd be the best way for them to get better." McLaughlin also agreed. "I'm somebody who learns by example, by getting in there and adjusting to the style of play, the pace, whatever the coach wants, things like that," he said. "I think most players are." Now, he's had his audition with the team cut short. "It's about being able to show what you can do. Losing out on some of those chances is something I worry about much more than missing out on some checks." Two-way players can accumulate official NBA days during playoff runs, but they are allowed to be around the group, which absolutely helps them grow as players, especially with the energy up. The Raptors, for example, have used their two-way players to make a scout team. Watson planned on joining that team before the pandemic took place. That also would have given Watson a chance to be noticed a little more, even as a player on the scout team. It sounds dumb, but seeing little stuff like who comes in early, who can follow instructions, whether their teammates like them, that stuff can make a difference, said one longtime NBA player development coach. There's always front office people or coaches in the gym, and they notice those things. Watson did whatever he could to make sure he was ready if the Raptors came calling. He would meet with the Raptors coaches over Zoom and would follow the workouts they wrote down for him. He believes the Raptors have treated him very well through the process, which again, is hard to do as a competing team. "I feel like I can compete in the league, that I have a lot I can bring to an NBA team," he said. "This was supposed to be his period to prove so. But now," he said, "all I can do is wait." This pandemic has hurt so many people in the world financially. This pandemic isn't fair, but at least sports are starting to make their way back in America. It's been a long journey for everyone, not just basketball players. Knowing that things will only get better from here is exciting. Watson will get his chances again next season to prove that he belongs, and if he put in the work during the quarantine, then he's well on his way to proving his worth to the Raptors or another organization. Hopefully, other players also managed their money effectively and took caution before spending their money. The pandemic made it hard to spend money anyway, but knowing you're not going to be getting the same paycheck you've been getting is definitely tough.